We need to talk about the new series Gangs of London, and yes, it is linked to the PSP game released in 2006. It's an action crime drama television series about the Wallaces, the most important criminal family in London. The head gangster Finn Wallace is murdered, so his son Sean Wallace wants to find out who sent the hit on his father. Nobody complies and the wrestle for power begins. Nobody's safe in this game. If you love all things film and funny skits, don't forget to like, subscribe and hit the notification bell so you know when I upload. In an interview with How You Guys, Gareth Evans, one of the directors working on Gangs of London and series creator, revealed that Paul's Films actually approached him as they had the IP rights to the PSP game Gangs of London, and they had the idea for it to be a film franchise. However, Gareth suggested it being a TV series so they can explore the characters more and reflect on how culturally diverse London is. I'm actually quite glad it's a TV series as all these characters are so complex and it's so nice to see their character arcs. If you love the PSP game, don't get your hopes up too much, as Gareth explains that it's only loosely based on the game, and it actually only really shares the same name. Hands down, this has to be one of the best British TV shows I've ever watched. It almost looks like a DC film, especially with the way it's graded. It's so gritty and dark. I just want to break down some of my personal favourite scenes and sum up some of the main characters. But first of all, I just want to applaud JUDE, who is the choreographer and everyone else involved, as these were some of the best fight scenes I have ever seen on British television. The way the camera moves with the action is incredible. It's almost like a dance routine, and it takes away from how brutal these fight scenes actually are, as the violence is real. Gangs of London starts off with a bang. As the opening scene starts with an upside down shot of London at night time, it looks so cinematic the way the camera's moving, and then you see a guy being hung upside down and you're a bit like, what is going on? Then the camera pans up to reveal Sean Wallace, who then goes on to set a guy on fire, and that is what you call an opening scene. We need to talk about the first fight scene in episode 1, where Elliot is fighting a gang of 8 Albanians in the pub. The way the camera moves with the punches, it was literally like art. But the real shock factor about this scene is you're like, who is this guy and how is he fighting all these men? Another scene that had me in awe was the dinner scene in episode 4. The camera panned to each character, ended on Sean, then went to the broken mirror caused by the bullet shot. You can just see them all looking at the broken mirror, which represents how broken and fragmented the family is, when they used to be so strong and connected. Gangs of London has such strong symbolism, and this is shown with how they play with lighting. There's this scene in episode 3 with Lali. She's on the other side of the fence looking at this load of burning cash. But we see a shot that looks like she's standing in the middle, representing how her character is feeling at the time. As her family's been held captive, the money she sacrificed so much for is being burnt, and it's just a scene of pure hopelessness. For me, that was really moving. The final scene I want to break down is actually in episode 5. There's this hitman on top of the roof and he literally jumps through the roof into the room below. And the camera literally jumps with him. It's pretty impressive. I literally felt like I was there with him. There's so many complex characters in Gangs of London and I literally don't have the time to sum them all up. ELLIOT FINCH, played by Shopper Dirisu. So ELLIOT is an undercover cop, and what can I say? He literally sounds like a Fed. Close your eyes and imagine what a Fed would sound like. That's ELLIOT. We first meet ELLIOT looking a bit shady and you just think he wants to get into the Wallace family. We are shown that ELLIOT used to be in the military before. This makes sense why ELLIOT has some of the most amazing and brutal fight scenes out there. He can literally take on 1 million guys at once. You don't want to mess with ELLIOT. And I really like how we get to learn about his wife and son dying, as even though it's really sad, it gives him more depth. Right, I just want to compare ELLIOT to the other undercover cop. Anthony, played by David Avery, who I couldn't tell was part of the police. We're first introduced to Anthony as being part of a gang of robbers. So even though he's always staring at ELLIOT, you just kind of assume he's a bit of a dodgy guy. ELLIOT then discovers that Anthony was actually an undercover cop when he saw him taking photos of him and Shannon, which is an obvious giveaway. Sean Wallace, played by Joe Cole. He's hot-headed and out for revenge after his powerful dad, Finn Wallace, is assassinated. He isn't a businessman and he's too consumed with getting revenge. He was more than happy to blow up his own buildings. I do feel sorry for him as he's always trying to prove himself. I love how Sean Wallace is actually well spoken, instead of how I normally assume gangster bosses would sound. But when I heard how Joe Cole actually speaks in a Heat World interview, it made me laugh because that's how I assumed Sean would have spoken. Finn Wallace, played by Colin Meaney. Finn Wallace is the reason why all this stuff is happening. But the crazy thing is that his family are trying to get revenge and regain power when Finn was planning on starting a whole new life with his pregnant mistress, Floriana. Finn stole loads of money to start his new life on his private island. He even bought Floriana a £36 million yacht, and to top it off, he named it the Floriana. He's taking the piss. He was literally ready to skirt. Personally, I think Finn Wallace is the biggest villain here. Marian Wallace, played by Michelle Fairley. Marian Wallace is Finn's wife, and she really gets to show how strong and powerful she is once Finn's dead. Marian will do anything for her family and to make sure that the Wallaces stay on top. Marian's very clever, strategic, and very dangerous. The fact that she lets her kids see this dangerous world of gangsters, be forced to shoot someone in the head as a kid, and torture the woman without any hesitation. She is not to be messed with. And at one point, I even thought she killed Finn, which she didn't do, disclaimer. Ed DUMANI, played by Lucien Nsamati, who for me is the most dangerous man alive in this series. He's clever, calculated, and will do anything to protect his family. He basically built the Wallace Foundation with Finn, so he knows every little secret. From when he killed Finn's driver and faked his suicide because he knew too much, I realised he was not messing about. Then Ed shot Marian. That really surprised me, as I thought they were basically family. Alex DUMANI, played by Papa Essiedu. Ed DUMANI's son and the brains behind the whole business, as he's the only one that can actually clean the drug money, which makes him one of the most valued characters in this series. Even though Sean's a loose wire, Alex always tries to help him and sees him as family. Billy Wallace, played by Brian Vernell. Billy is the outsider of the family, and in the beginning he annoyed me. There's this massive fight scene that goes on and Billy's in the other room doing drugs. However, as the episodes progress, you start to see more of the Wallace family and you actually start to feel sorry for Billy and kind of sympathise with him. But Billy's actually a secret dark horse. There's this one point where you think Billy's trying to buy drugs again, but it turns out that he's actually trying to find out who was selling the drugs so he can tell his family. He really just wants to be accepted and be valued. Billy had a whole plan for him and his sister Jacqueline Robinson, played by Velleen Kane, with a whole new identity and passports included, so he's definitely way smarter than he lets on. Plus there's a pivotal moment we keep getting shown throughout the series, where Finn Wallace wants Sean to shoot someone buried half in the ground, but Sean can't do it, so Billy ends up doing it for him. I get the impression that Billy isn't afraid to do the dirty work, he just doesn't want to do it. Shannon DUMANI, played by Pippa Bennett Warner. Ed DUMANI's daughter and Alex's sister. She appears not to be part of the violence or the main business, but she does know when she has to toe the line to be ruthless to protect her family. She's very much like her father in this aspect. When she asks Vicky Chung, the detective, if anyone knew she was here, then she came down with a shotgun. I was like, whoa, like not a gun, a shotgun. She wasn't messing about. Plus, I want to know, how didn't anyone hear a shotgun go off? I'm pretty sure if my next door neighbour used a shotgun, I'd hear. So there's a bit of conspiracy going around between me and my friends that she actually shot her husband, and I wouldn't put her past it. So season 2 isn't confirmed, but there's definitely room for another season, as there's so many cliffhangers. The biggest cliffhanger being that Marian isn't dead and Floriana, oh my god, is actually gonna help her, which is super suspect. Does Floriana feel bad, or does she have a secret agenda? That's what I want to know. Also, when Marian learns that Sean's dead, she's literally gonna go crazy and into full revenge mode. Will Billy and Jacqueline come back to help the mom? Who are these investors that are being driven around in the back of a fancy car? They're literally just calling the shots left, right and centre. Elliot's free, but he's not actually free, as they call him and say, we'll be in touch, and we'll be in touch means they'll be in touch. So they definitely have other plans in store for him. I'm guessing Alex DUMANI will be in charge of the Wallace organisation, so what will happen in season 2? Drop your predictions down below in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe and hit the notification bell so you know when I upload.